Welcome everyone. Welcome to the first lecture of our physics class 11 physics, that is nothing but unit and dimensions. Okay, so in this chapter we'll basically cover all the theory part. Okay, in this lecture we'll cover all the theory part, and we'll also try to solve some of the question possible, some of the example possible, such that you'll be at least something clear about this unit and dimensions. Okay, so starting this chapter, let us understand as the topic itself suggests, this chapter is divided into two subgroup. That is, one is unit and other thing is dimensions. Okay, okay. The thing unit. What is a unit? You all know about, like, unit is a chosen reference. Okay, unit is a chosen reference for any type of measurement. So like when we are saying 1 kg, this object weighs 1 kg. So here kg denotes that it is a chosen reference, that we know how much a kg would be. If someone is saying it approximate 100 kg, means you know at least what is 1 kg. Okay, you know what is 1 kg, and based on that chosen reference you are saying that it is 100 times of the 1 kg, so you are saying it is 100 kg. So unit is a chosen reference. What? It is a chosen reference. And the dimension is this, like, new thing which you are going to learn in this chapter. Okay, so let us start with the first thing that the chapter starts with, that is physical quantities. Okay, physical quantities. So, like, first of all, what is the physical quantities? The quantities, the quantities by which we describe the laws of physics are known as physical quantities. Okay? So, if anyone will ask about what is a physical quantity, you can say that the quantities by which we describe the laws of physics we describe are known as physical quantities. Okay, so these physical quantities are divided into two types. First is fundamental physical quantity. And second one is derived physical quantity. Derived physical quantities. Okay, so these two are actually the types of physical quantities that we have. Okay, now let us go one by one. Let us go one by one. First thing, fundamental physical quantity. Fundamental physical quantities. Fundamental physical quantities are the quantities which do not depend on other for their complete definition, which do not depend on other quantities for their complete definition, are known as fundamental physical quantities. The quantities which do not depend on other physical quantities. वो quantities जो किसी दूसरे quantity पे depend ना करता हो for their complete definition, for their complete definition. Like, there are 7 physical quantities. There are 7 fundamental physical quantities. there are 7 fundamental physical quantities. Now, these 7 physical quantities are, note down. First is length. Second is weight oblique mass. Okay. Third is time. Fourth is electric current. Fifth is thermodynamic temperature. Sixth is amount of substance. And 7 is luminous intensity. Okay, so now going one by one, these 7, what are these 7 physical quantities? First is length, second is mass, third is time, fourth is electric current, fifth is thermodynamic temperature, sixth is amount of substance, and seventh is luminous intensity. So these are the 7 fundamental physical quantities which do not depend on other quantities. So they are the quantities which do not depend on other, which do not depend on other quantities for their complete for their complete definition, which itself means that apart from these 7 fundamental physical quantities, इन सातों के अलावा जो भी physical quantity है like force, pressure, like density, okay, whatever, Planck's constant, etc., everything except these 7 physical quantities, all like velocity, speed, whatever, are the derived physical quantities. These 7 are the only physical quantities which do not depend on other quantities for their complete definition. ठीक है? So they are actually independent, they are independently definable. Okay, so they are independently definable. Okay, so there are total 7 fundamental physical quantities. Okay, now going to the next thing, that is derived physical quantities. Derived physical quantities. Okay, so what do you mean by derived physical quantities? Okay, so derived physical quantities are quantities which depend on the fundamental quantities for their complete definition. Okay, so they depend on the fundamental quantities for their complete definition. Like we can take the example of speed. Speed is nothing but distance by time. Okay, distance is nothing but length, and time is nothing. So these two are the fundamental quantities, length as well as time. So actually speed को हम लोग define कर दिए in terms of fundamental quantity. So actually speed is a derived physical quantity. Okay, so now take some more example, like force. Force is nothing but mass into acceleration. Okay, acceleration. Mass is a fundamental quantity. Okay, acceleration is nothing but velocity by time. Okay, velocity is nothing but displacement by time. Okay, nothing but displacement by time. Okay, so here we can write mass into displacement by time square. Okay, displacement is nothing but a unit of length. Displacement is nothing but a length, some sort of length. So mass into length by time square. So when you are looking at force, so here it is, mass is a fundamental quantity, length is a fundamental quantity, and time itself is a fundamental quantity. So we have defined force in terms of the fundamental quantities. That's why force, speed, these all are known as derived physical quantities, which depend on the fundamental quantities for their complete definition. So I'm sure you are sure about what is derived physical quantity. Now let us go through the units. Fundamental units. Okay. Now what are units? Units are, and actually starting itself I told, units are chosen reference, standard of measurement, standard of measurements, okay, by which we describe the quantity, by which we describe the quantity. Okay, so there are units. इस units के कारण ही हम वो एक chosen reference है. Because of this units we are able to describe the quantity कि how much the quantity, like we are saying, like okay, volume we are talking about and it is based on liters. Okay, or we are taking about mass and it is based on kg. Okay, and we are with the unit kg we are able to say how much, like 1 kg, 2 kg, 3 kg. So okay, that quantity we are able to define by this chosen reference, and that is nothing but units. So there are some characteristics of a standard unit. Okay, there are some characteristics of standard unit. एक यूनिट का, एक स्टैंडर्ड यूनिट का कुछ कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स होना चाहिए. लाइक द फर्स्ट थिंग, इट शुड बी वेल डिफाइंड. Okay, it should be well defined. Okay, this standard unit should well defined. Matlab, we are talking about 1 kg, it should be well defined that okay, this is 1 kg. We should define this 1 kg. It cannot be like more at some places, less at some places. Everyone cannot have their own interception of 1 kg. Okay, it should be standardized. Okay, so it should be well defined. Second thing, it should be of convenient size. We cannot say like 1 ton as our standard unit because the size is too large. Okay, so एक तो उसका convenient size होना चाहिए. Okay, we should have a convenient size. If you are taking like standard unit, okay, आज से standard unit of volume will be 1000 liters. Everyone cannot afford the 1000 liters. It is not of convenient size that everyone could handle it. Okay, so actually a standard unit must be of a convenient size. Okay, second thing, of convenient size. Third thing, it should be easily available. हमने ले लिया 1 ton और 1 ton तो कहीं easily available है ही नहीं. Okay, so it should be easily available. Okay, fourth thing, must be same. Okay, should not change with respect to place and time. Jug, like अभी 1 kg का मतलब like some sort of unit. Okay, it should not be like 1 घंटे के बाद वो 1 kg बदल गया. Okay, it should be same throughout. It should not change with respect to time and neither it should change with respect to place. मतलब यहाँ पर 1 kg cannot be different from the, like in India the value of 1 kg should not be different from the value of 1 kg in Europe. It should be same throughout. Okay, so this is the thing. Now fifth thing, that it should be it should not change with any of the physical conditions. Okay, environmental natural condition must not change with environmental oblique physical conditions. चेंज नहीं होना चाहिए. लाइक ऐसा नहीं कि टेम्परेचर, इफ टेम्परेचर इज राइजिंग इट शुड हैव एन इफेक्ट. इफेक्ट नहीं होना चाहिए. टेम्परेचर राइज, टेम्परेचर फॉल, ये इफेक्ट नहीं होना चाहिए. इट शुड बी standard. Standard means it should be maintain its like nature. Okay, it should be same. Okay, so these are the some of the characteristics of standard unit. Okay, now we'll go with the our next thing, that is fundamental units. Okay, and derived units. Fundamental units मतलब जितने भी fundamental quantities, those 7 fundamental quantities. Okay, what are fundamental quantities? Fundamental quantities are quantities which do not depend on other quantities for their complete definition. Okay, और इन्हीं fundamental quantities का fundamental units है. Okay, these seven fundamental quantities का fundamental units है. Like the first thing was length, second thing was mass, fundamental quantities, third was time, fourth was electric current, fifth was thermodynamic temperature. Okay, sixth was amount of substance, and the seventh one was luminous intensity. luminous Intensity. So these were the 7 physical fundamental quantities which you have learnt about. And what are their units? So the unit of length is meters. Okay, denoted by m. The unit of mass is kilogram, denoted by kg. The unit of time is seconds, denoted by second, sec. So these are the fundamental units. Okay, the unit of electric current is ampere, denoted by A. The unit of thermodynamic temperature is Kelvin, denoted by K. Amount of substance is mole, denoted by MOL. And the luminous intensity is candela, denoted by CD. Okay, so these are the fundamental quantities and the fundamental units by which we define these fundamental quantities. Okay, there are also supplementary quantities. Okay, there are also supplementary quantities which are not fundamental, neither derived, which are not fundamental quantities which are not fundamental neither derived are known as supplementary quantities. And there are two quantities which exist. The first thing is plane angle and the other one is solid angle. Plane angle and the second one is solid angle. And what are its unit? The unit of plane angle is radian divided by, which is noted by RAD, and the unit of solid angle is steradian, denoted by SR. Okay, so these are the supplementary quantities. Okay, now let us understand the international system of units. First of all, going to international system of units, we will learn about the system of units. Okay, system of units. So basically the system of units are divided into, like, the first thing, the system of units. In the system of units, there are most popular three system of units. The first one is MKS system of units, which we generally known as SI system of units. Okay. The second one is CGS system of units, and the third is FPS. Okay. Now here we'll go with the length. Okay, mass and time. So these three changes. Okay. In MKS system of units, the standard unit of length is meter. It's taken as meter. Whereas in CGS it's known as centimeter, and in FPS, in CGS is known as centimeter, in MKS is known as meter, and in FPS is known as foot. Okay, the mass in MKS unit is taken as kilogram, in CGS is known as gram, and in FPS is known as pound. And the unit of time in all three are taken as seconds. So these are the well-renowned three popular system of units, that is MKS, CGS and FPS. Okay, out of which we have to choose. We cannot measure like in some part of the world we are taking as kilogram, and when we are going to some other part it is changing as gram, and in some other part is changing as pound. So there is no international something reference that no, that internationally it is accepted. So here comes the thing of international system of units, that is known as SI units. International system of units, which is known as SI unit. Okay, so here comes the international system of units, that is known as SI units. So the SI units are the units which are internationally accepted for their measurement, is known as SI unit. Okay, so these are the international system of units which we have discussed here. Okay, it is international system of units, SI units is internationally accepted. Okay, internationally it is accepted, and this international system of units which we have discussed about is this one. This international system of units is having 7 fundamental units and 2 supplementary. Okay, so these are the SI units which we have read here. So these are the fundamental units, or known as SI units. In this SI units, the 7 are fundamental units and 2 are supplementary units. 2 are supplementary units. So I hope you are clear about. Okay, so these are some of the like thing which we have learned about. Now, why SI units? What are the advantages of SI units? Okay, we know that it is internationally accepted. Okay, so what are the advantages of it? Okay, what are the advantages of this SI unit? Advantages of SI unit. Okay, we have chosen SI unit. Why we have chosen as meter? What is the advantage of it? So actually SI, what is the advantage of it? First is it is a coherent system of unit. Coherent system of unit. Okay, it is an absolute system of unit. Obsolete भी है. Okay, obsolete system of unit. Okay, so there are some of advantages of it. That is, one is coherent, another is absolute. It is also rational in nature, and it is also in metric system. Okay, so because of that, it is known as the advantages of it lie there. Okay, now the next thing, that is like uh, conversion factors, we'll start with the dimensions of it. Okay, like whatever the mathematical terms which we need to solve this, like what is nanometer or something, we'll read afterwards. Okay, so we'll start with dimensions of a physical quantity. What is dimensions? Units are clear. Now dimensions of physical quantities, and you have to pay attention carefully. Okay, dimensions of the physical quantities. Like all physical quantities can be expressed in terms of seven fundamental units. ठीक है? All physical quantities, जितने भी quantities exist करते हैं, all physical quantities can be expressed in the form of those seven fundamental quantities oblique units. Okay, we call these we call these seven fundamental quantities, we call these seven fundamental quantities these seven fundamental quantities are seven dimensions of the physical world. Seven dimensions of the physical world. These are the seven fundamental dimensions of the physical world. So these are known as seven fundamental units of physical world. So starting with that, we express all the physical quantities in terms of the seven dimensions. Understood? Like, take the example of acceleration. Take the example of acceleration. Like when we take the example of acceleration, acceleration is nothing but velocity by time. Velocity is nothing but displacement by time, and time is already there, so it's time square. Displacement is nothing but a unit of length, and time square. So we can write these as acceleration as length time to the power of -2. Okay, so actually this acceleration we have defined in the terms of this fundamental physical quantity, and the fundamental physical quantities are actually called the seven dimensions of the physical world. So we have this we have did. Okay, now take some more examples. Like when we are dimensions, this is the dimensions of acceleration. This is the dimension of acceleration. Okay, now coming to velocity. Dimension of velocity. Velocity is nothing but displacement by time. Displacement is a unit of length, and time. So we can write that L to the t to the power of -1. So this is the dimension of velocity. Okay, so actually dimension of physical quantities are like there are seven fundamental physical quantities, and all physical quantities can be represented. All physical quantities can be, सारे physical quantities को हम लोग seven fundamental quantities के अनुसार पे हम उसको derive बता सकते हैं, define कर सकते हैं. Okay, and those seven fundamental quantities are known as seven dimensions of the physical world. Means indirectly all physical quantities can be represented in the 7 dimensions of the physical world. And that 7 dimensions are nothing but MLT, M for mass, okay, L for length, M for mass, L for length, T for time, K for Kelvin, A for ampere, okay, and MOL for mole, and CD for candela. Okay, so based on this, we can define these are the 7 dimensions of the physical world, and based on that, we can define any physical quantities. On this this dimensions of the physical world, we can define any quantity. Okay, clear? Like, and these dimensions are nothing, these are called the dimension, this is also known as dimensional formula. Okay, so whatever we want to like derive, we can derive based on that. Like some of the questions we'll like solve here. Okay, questions we'll solve, like we'll take some of the physical quantity, and we'll try to write down its physical quantities, and we'll try to write down it dimensions. Okay, the first thing is area. Okay, second is volume. Okay, third is density. Fourth is force. Fifth is work. Sixth is energy. Seventh is momentum. Okay, now like take the example, these 7 physical quantities are सबका हमको dimension लिखना है. Okay, here we have to write down its dimensions. Okay, now starting with the area. What is area? Area is nothing into length into breadth. Breadth is also a unit of length, so L into L, so it is becoming L square. So this is the dimension. So here L square is a dimension. Now coming to volume. Volume is length into breadth into height. All three are unit of length. So it is becoming L cube. Okay, so these are the dimensions. Density is nothing but mass by volume. वॉल्यूम का भी हमने L क्यूब डिफाइन किया, तो M L क्यूब, so is coming M L minus 3. So this is the dimension of density. Now force is nothing into mass into acceleration. Okay, acceleration is nothing but velocity by time, and velocity is nothing but displacement by time. Displacement by time square. Okay, because acceleration is velocity by time and velocity is displacement by time, so it is becoming displacement by time square. Displacement is nothing but a unit of length, so mass into length by time square, so it is becoming, dimension is becoming M L and t to power of minus 2. Okay, t to power minus 2. Now coming to work. Work is nothing but force into displacement, force into displacement. फोर्स का भी हमने पता किया एम एल टी का पावर माइनस 2, और डिस्प्लेसमेंट एल, सो इट इज बिकमिंग एम एल स्क्वायर टी का पावर माइनस 2. एनर्जी क्या होता है? सेम एज वर्क, सो इट इज बिकमिंग एम एल टू टी का पावर माइनस 2. मोमेंटम इज मास इंटू वेलोसिटी. Okay, velocity is nothing but displacement by time, so mass into displacement by time. Displacement is nothing but length, a unit of length, so it is becoming ml t down में है तो t का power minus 1. Okay, so this is the way we describe these are known as some of the fundamental. Okay, so these are the fundamental quantities and the dimensions by which we describe it. Okay, now this some more examples we'll take. Okay, note down all things. Pressure. Pressure is nothing but force by area. For what is force? Force, we have already defined mass into acceleration, where acceleration is displacement by time. Okay, and mass length by time, so it is coming ml t का power minus 2. So force का हमको पता है ml t का power minus 2. Okay, and area is L square. Area is length into breadth, so L square. So here when it goes up, तो it's becoming L का power minus 2, and यहाँ पर 1 है, तो it's becoming m L. Okay, so L already 1 था, ऑलरेडी वन था, एम वन था, एल वन था, यहाँ पर टी माइनस टू, तो ऊपर टी एल यहाँ पर टू था, तो ऊपर जाएगा तो माइनस टू हो जाएगा, एंड इट इज बिकमिंग टी का पावर माइनस टू. सो इसको अगर सब्स्टिट्यूट करेंगे तो बन जाएगा एम एल का पावर माइनस वन टी का पावर माइनस टू. ओके, we can avoid writing one. Okay, we can avoid writing one, but no problem, we can write two. Okay, like here इन एरिया केस यहाँ पर सिर्फ L है, तो वी कैन राइट m का पावर 0, L का पावर 2, T का पावर 0. दिस इज ऑल्सो करेक्ट वे ऑफ राइटिंग. ओके, वॉल्यूम MLT के फॉर्म में हम लोग लिख सकते हैं, बेस्ट थिंग. सो m का पावर 0, L का पावर 3, T का पावर 0. डेंसिटी m का पावर 1 है, L का पावर माइनस 3 एंड T का पावर 0. सो दिस इज द वे वी कैन राइट. ओके, नो going ahead, now let us take some more examples like surface tension. Surface tension. Surface tension is nothing but force upon length. See, the best thing of like remembering these dimensions, no, the best thing of remembering dimensions, the first basic thing which you have to do while remembering this dimension, you should be through with all the formula. What is surface tension? Surface tension मतलब किसी एक surface के ऊपर how much force is being applied, and that force is creating a tension on that surface, that is known as surface tension. So okay, so that surface can be a unit of length. Okay, that surface can be a unit of length. So its formula is force upon length. Force का भी आपको पता चला था कि mlt का पावर माइनस टू आपने निकाला था फोर्स का, क्योंकि फोर्स मास इंटू एक्सेलरेशन डिस्प्लेसमेंट बाय टाइम स्क्वायर. सो mlt का पावर माइनस टू आपने निकाला था, mlt नीचे है तो t का पावर माइनस टू, तो ये फोर्स का आपको पता था. नाउ कमिंग टू लेंथ, लेंथ इज L. सो ये L ऊपर जाएगा तो L यहाँ पर 1 था, ये माइनस 1 जाएगा तो L विल बिकम 0. सो इट इज बिकम mt स्क्वायर सरफेस टेंशन, जिसको आप लोग लिख सकते हैं m L का पावर 0, t का पावर माइनस 2, m का पावर 1. ओके, सो this is the dimension of surface tension. Okay, so there are n number of things. Okay, n number of things which you can create the dimensions of. Okay, like in exams it comes like find the fundamental quantities. Okay, find the dimensions of torque. What is a torque? Okay, what is a torque? Torque is nothing but force into distance. Force into distance. अभी आपको पता है फोर्स का mlt का पावर माइनस टू एंड डिस्टेंस इज L, so it is becoming ml2 t का पावर माइनस टू. ओके, सो दिस इज द डायमेंशन ऑफ टॉर्क. ओके, आप अगर यहाँ पर एक चीज रिलेट करेंगे कि टॉर्क का और एनर्जी का, टॉर्क और एनर्जी दोनों का डायमेंशन सेम हो गया. ओके, सो दोनों कोई का यूनिट भी एक्चुअली सेम होता है. लाइक वर्क का होता है जूल, एनर्जी का जूल और टॉर्क का जूल. तो अगर डायमेंशन सेम होता है तो यूनिट्स भी कोरिलेटेड होता है, एग्जैक्टली सेम होता है. यूनिट्स भी एक बिल्कुल सेम होता है. अगर डायमेंशन सेम होगा तो यूनिट्स भी सेम होगा. ओके, यूनिट्स कैन बी आल्सो बी सेम. Understood? Now, like taking some more examples. Okay, power. Power. What is power? Power is like work upon time. You have read in class 10. Power is work, the amount of the rate of doing work. So rate is जहाँ पर भी रेट का बात आता है तो by divided by time कर देते हैं. The rate of change of velocity, the velocity by time, that is acceleration. So the rate of change of velocity is acceleration. We say the rate of change of velocity, the velocity by time, acceleration. The rate of change of momentum, तो momentum by time, that's the second law of मोशन. तो जहां पर भी रेट का बात आता है तो टाइम आ जाता है. तो द रेट ऑफ डूइंग वर्क, तो टाइम, तो वर्क बाई टाइम. द रेट ऑफ डूइंग वर्क, डूइंग वर्क का रेट, तो टाइम. तो वर्क का हमको पता है, इट इज ml2 t का पावर -2 और टाइम t डाल दिए. सो इट इज कमिंग एज ml2 t का पावर -2 और नीचे 1 था तो ऊपर जाके -1 हो गया. नीचे 1 था तो ऊपर जाएगा तो -1 हो जाएगा. तो इट इज कमिंग ml2 t का पावर -3. तो ये अपना डायमेंशन फॉर्मूला ऑफ पावर. दिस इज द डायमेंशन फॉर्मूला ऑफ पावर. अब आपको बहुत ज्यादा लाइक कंफ्यूजन होगा कि सर एवरी टाइम when we have to write the dimension formula, every time we have to write the dimension formula. So here comes a trick. Every time note down this trick. Okay, so every time we have to write the dimension formula, it is like it is very much like it is very much hard, or you will say that it's very much complicated, that we have to start with the from a like this fundamental, like scratch level से हमको पिक करना पड़ेगा. एवरी टाइम हमको लेंथ से देखना पड़ेगा. लाइक व्हेन वी आर डिफाइनिंग पावर, तो पावर होता है वर्क बाय टाइम. एंड व्हाट इज वर्क? वर्क इज एनर्जी, चाहे फोर्स इनटू डिस्प्लेसमेंट. वर्क इज फोर्स इनटू डिस्प्लेसमेंट बाय टाइम. व्हाट इज फोर्स? मास इनटू एक्सीलरेशन into displacement. Force is nothing but mass into acceleration up into displacement by time. What is acceleration? So mass into velocity by time into displacement, नीचे time into time. Okay, velocity is displacement, mass into displacement by time into time. तब जाके हमको मिला ml2 t का पावर -3. देखो m, ये डिस्प्लेसमेंट इज नथिंग बट लेंथ, तो ml2 t का पावर -3. तब जाके तो इतना बड़ा प्रोसेस एक चीज के लिए. ओके, अगर मान के चलो एरिया आ रहा है, वॉल्यूम आ रहा है, ओके, वेलोसिटी आ रहा है, ओके, डिस्प्लेसमेंट आ रहा है. सो दिस ऑल आर इजी, वी विल बी एबल टू डू इट. बट व्हाट अबाउट लाइक पावर, ओके, टॉर्क, सरफेस टेंशन, अगर ऐसा वैसा कुछ आ गया तो हाउ विल गो अबाउट इट? सो द ट्रिक लाइज हियर इज, just remember, everything in physics, everything in physics can be defined. Everything मतलब generally 90% of the physics can be defined in terms of force and energy. कोई भी चीज देख लो फिजिक्स में, एनीथिंग, आई विल चैलेंज यू, यू सी एनीथिंग इन फिजिक्स, सब कुछ फोर्स और एनर्जी पे डिपेंडेंट है. ओके, मोमेंटम से लेके द रेट ऑफ चेंज ऑफ मोमेंटम, वेलोसिटी, इनर्शिया, व्हाटएवर यू हैव रेड, वर्क, एनर्जी, टाइम, पावर, whatever you have read in physics, okay, everything is dependent on, like 90% of the thing is dependent upon force and energy. Okay, the complicated things don't go with the velocity, displacement, it is the easy thing. Okay, like surface tension भी आप लेते हैं तो force upon length. Okay, modulus of elasticity, stress upon strain. What is stress? It is again a force. Okay, pressure, force upon area. Energy is equal to work is equal to force into displacement. Okay, power is work by time. Everything is under force and displacement. सब कुछ, moment of couple, moment of force, force into distance, torque, force into distance. Okay, whatever you take, anything like energy density, force density, radiation pressure, intensity of wave, whatever you will take, everything is dependent upon this force and energy. तो हमको सबसे पहले सिर्फ दो का याद करना है, ट्रिक यही है. we'll remember two for our easy access for writing dimensional formula. फोर्स का होता है ml t का पावर -2, जस्ट रिमेंबर ml t का पावर -2, और एनर्जी का एक और l जुट जाता है बस. सो लाइक एनर्जी इज नथिंग बट वर्क, एंड वर्क इज नथिंग बट फोर्स इनटू डिस्प्लेसमेंट. तो फोर्स के अंदर एक l मल्टीप्लाई कर देंगे तो ऑलरेडी मेरा एनर्जी आ जाएगा. तो फोर्स मेरा mlt का पावर -2 है, इसमें एक l मल्टीप्लाई कर देंगे तो ये मेरा हो जाएगा ml2t का पावर -2. ठीक है. सो दिस इज द बेसिक थिंग बिहाइंड इट. सो वी विल रिमेंबर दिस टू. सो अपने दिमाग में बड़े बड़े अक्षरों में लिख लीजिए कि जो